Z-Swag in the house. Astro Sen Talks. We are back at it again. Today we have a really important guest here. To this powerful conversation. And super excited, super honored to have him on the Sen Talk. This is the second Sen Talk on the week of the year, and let's see how it goes. So, give me 1 second while I add everything here. He should be joining us really soon. SAG Success Principles with Prince Sishan Ali. Success. There we go. All right. Perfect. Okay, let's try it again. I should have. There we go. Yes.
Hey,
There he is.
what's up? Good to see you.
Great man. Prince, pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll dive right into it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great, perfect. So let's get right to it. Thank you so much for joining here today. This is a Sand Talk. It's a space where we're gonna have a conversation about your story. How did it came to be, and what are the principles that got you there? Because I think, like, besides the success, there are certain things that you were able to convey when we just met that are truly important that could serve a lot of people. So, yeah, quick recap of how we met. We met in Guatapé, Colombia. I think it was your honeymoon, right?
No, it wasn't my honeymoon, but we did get just married a week and a half prior to that. So the honeymoon is on hold until I think March.
Okay. So you're still on the honeymoon. You're still on the honeymoon.
Sort of.
Okay, that's great. That's epic. Okay, so we met there in Colombia. We met in Guatapé, and we were talking about your business, talking about your experiences, and I really love the way that you just shared, like all the values that you have in your company. I did some research as well regarding what you do in C-Swag and Wealth Armor, and just like I'm super excited what to share and what took you there. So if we take a step back, who are you, Prince, and how did you get there? If we were to say it in a simple term.
I'm a curious person. I'm a business owner. I have a deep desire to learn and get better every single day. I'd say that's why I'm at heart.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, and right now, what is C-Swag to someone who doesn't know?
Sure. So it's a custom merchandising agency, and our goal is to help create memorable brand experiences for companies. So we customize promotional products, apparel, all sorts of different marketing collateral, and the goal is to create and use it as a vehicle to create a unique experience for employees or clients or partners. And so we provide the strategy, the execution, basically everything from start to finish for our clients.
That's great. That's great. And something that I really loved about your company is the values, the core values. It say I have it here. It's extreme ownership, do more with less, strive for greatness, communicate mindfully, customer obsessed, collaborate 3 times. And I really like that. How do you get to these core values? Like, how did you develop them?
Sure. So core values stem always from the leadership. They stem from the owners. They don't stem from employees because employees come and go. So core values were created by myself. And these are the things that I stand for and I wanted the company to stand for. And individuals that read those values, either they'll find alignment or they won't. And if they don't, that's the whole point. If you read the core value about extreme ownership, it'll tell you mistakes are acceptable, but excuses aren't. I have no interest in working with people who make excuses all the time. I just don't have time for it. But if you make mistakes, no big deal. I probably made more mistakes than most people, and you simply just learn from them and move on. And that's my philosophy. So each of the values, just it's what I believe in. Like collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. Right? More than one person, more than one brain is going to help contribute different ideas, different perspectives to helping problem solve. So each of those values stem directly from me.
Hmm. And what if you were to point into one specific one? Because you said stream ownership, and you went to collaborate. Which one would be the most that hits in your heart? The one that you always go back to?
So I think we only have about five core values. So I think all of them are absolutely critical. I wouldn't pick one over the other. I think it's a combination of all of those qualities. A part of taking ownership is collaborating. If I'm taking ownership of something, then I'm also collaborating to get answers and information, working with others. That also has to do with communicating mindfully. You see, they all intertwine. So one can't be excluded and be single, like just standalone, right? They all kind of work within each other. And it's overall, those are the values in place. I can't pick one.
Great. And you talked about, okay, it starts with the leader, but I think it's also really important to how do you communicate those values then to your employees? They might come and go, but to the ones that want to stay and want to go, how do you go about it?
So
What's the process, or what's been the way that you approach that?
So we're actually doing a whole revamp right now on this. So I'll give you a great company, Twilio. I think they've done one of the best jobs of how to showcase their values. So if you go to their website, what's really unique is they break down each of their values and how their staff should live them out. So a lot of the problems I see in a lot of business, you'll see a core value that says do the right thing. Well, do the right thing to you is probably not the same meaning for me, right? If we're both servers at a restaurant and something's wrong with the food, you might decide to comp the entire meal for everyone at the table, where I might just comp their plate and then give them a free dessert. Do the right thing is just very vague. So I think it's just explaining like what does it mean to live each of those values, and then hold a high standard to those. Make sure each person knows what that means. Like we onboard with values, we hire with values, we interview with values, we fire with our values. So use the core values as basically for everything. Use it for everything.
Okay, love it. No, yeah, and I love that distinction that you said, because it's how do you apply it to each part of the company? How do you apply it to each individual? That's great, awesome. Then, okay, so now you have swag, C swag, but I read in your bio also that you started when you were like, I think you were 14 years old when you started your entrepreneurship journey. Tell me more about that. How was that, Prince in the past? What was
Sure.
that story?
Yeah, I think it was even earlier than that, but I grew up in a low income home. We had mice, roaches in our home, and I was watching my parents work all the time. So I just had a hard work ethic, just watching my parents. You know, what you see is kind of what you follow, and so I always saw my parents working. So I did everything and anything I could. My dad was a taxi driver for many, many years, more than 10 years, and when I turned 15. I was trying to even get a fake driver's license just so I can go drive a cab so I could help the family and make more money. So I've had a lot of different jobs where I sold cigarettes when I was younger, like 12, 13 years old, like loose cigarettes. I've sold candy. I've shoveled snow from people's driveways. I've done a bunch of odd jobs, but that's just because of kind of the way I was raised and what I saw in my home.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. And from those experiences, which of those like odd jobs, for example, was the one that taught you most about maybe the core values and like how to treat and relate and cooperate with people?
I'd say working in hospitality. So one of the jobs I had, I worked for a company called Classic Residence by Hyatt all through high school. And I think that's where I really learned like extreme ownership, like taking full ownership of everything, learning to collaborate. So when you're cooking and you're working in a like food establishment, everything is about timing and everything is about communication and collaborating. So there's one person who's dedicated to working the grill, then you have one person that's dedicated to garmager, the salads and cold food. Then you have one person who's in charge of a different area. And the idea is that the timing of everything is perfect, so that the fried food isn't doesn't get cold while the salad's ready. Right, everything's got to be tied and delivered at the same exact time so that there's a great experience for the guests. And so that's a part of it. It's like when we create merchandise and swag, it's all about knowing when do we need to deliver it? How long is it going to take in transit? Knowing the logistics and timing things perfectly so that it's delivered on time for the client's events.
Mhm. No, totally, because I've also been in the restaurant, and yeah, I've had moments where like I was trying to cook something like with a plastic thing, and you don't put a plastic thing near the grill, so you're gonna guess what happened afterwards. But yeah, and there's been like many famous artists as well who've like tried to like started off with dishwasher or like the customer service experience, and started there to have like coordination for the future. And it requires a lot of things to manage all of those things. So you will have now a successful business, but you're now having a successful relationship, and also like you are like successful in yourself, meaning like your wealth, your health, your vitality. How are you able to like balance all of it?
So I'm working on balancing it better. Certainly, I'm working a lot because I have big, ambitious goals. So I think there is an imbalance, and that's okay. I don't think there's such thing as complete balance. So it's honestly it's a daily challenge. I'm working on it still. It's not balanced. That's the truth.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, and that's thank you so much for being honest with that, because it's we have to have like there might be this period of like seasons, right? So right now you're in the season of building the business, but at the same time not doing like not eating 10 bowls of ice cream, so you don't like are able to function. And for me right now also it's I'm on a Sunday working as well. So at the same time, I feel that. And what has your family said about that situation? Like how have they related for you to being okay with you working or not being okay, but you communicating that
Um,
experience to them?
so I grew up watching my parents working 7 days a week. So
So
I
they know,
yeah,
like they experience that.
they know I'm working towards my goals, my dreams, and of course they'll always say, "Hey, take it easy." But um, it's different for each person, right? Each person has a different why, a different reason for why they're doing what they're doing, and so right, it's everyone's prerogative to dictate kind of their work life balance. For me, I love work because it's fun. I enjoy it. I love challenges. So business is all about problem solving. So the more problems you solve, the better you'll do financially. The bigger problems you solve, the better you'll do, and the more people you'll be able to help.
Hmm. What's been your the most rewarding experience, like working and solving like a big problem in the past couple of years, or maybe give me a couple of examples?
So most rewarding, probably um, building a business that's functioning without me. Like last year, I didn't invest as much time. I spent the least amount of time I did in the prior 13 years in business last year in Z-Swag, and it's still sustained and working. It was a functioning business. It's not depending on me, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud that some team members have bought their first house because of employment, right? Because I was able to hire them and train them and develop them and let them kind of live out their dreams. So it's always seeing people. It's great seeing people grow. It's great seeing that the business is growing. So I think there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things I'm super proud of. Just being in business for that long itself. I don't think most businesses ever cross even the 6 year mark. It's very rare to get to 10 years in business, and we're about in year 15 now.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Awesome, man. And so year 15, just like recently you were able to have it last year on, without you being like on top of it all the time. So would you agree that there's not an easy business to build? Like it's not, it cannot like happen overnight, something that where you just like make it and leave it, but it requires actually time to build something that lasts. What are your thoughts on that? Would, now that you have your experience, would you have done differently, or could you do it faster? What do you think?
Well, yeah, every time you gain experience, you'll be able to do the next thing like 100 times faster than the first time, for sure. No question, because the first time you're learning, you're making a lot of mistakes, you're kind of testing, it's trial and error. And then now, like if I were to do another business, like I know exactly what to do, who to call, right? I might not know everything, but I have a really, really good sense of direction, a lot of confidence from past success that will help me catapult the speed of success much, much faster than it would have been if it was my first rodeo in entrepreneurship and figuring out what am I doing. Just smarter and knowing there's a lot of resources that are available, what resource to leverage, and working smarter. You can still work extremely hard no matter what, whatever other business ventures I pursue. That working extremely hard part won't ever go away, but what goes with it is just working a lot smarter, putting smart people around me and leveraging resources to just optimize time and speed to get things done quicker.
Mm-hmm. And for this business, um, when you just started out, what was the point where like it started to took off? What happened in that moment where it started to took off? Were you
Mm,
working on it a lot, or what specifically tilted the point
sure.
into being more successful?
Mm, So I was selling uniforms door to door at the culinary school I was attending, and then what took off the business was I got a referral from a professor at the college to a different college, and this was my first business who would have been the client, where I was used to just selling uniforms to like the students that were there, right? They give you money, you give them the product, and it's done. Like it's that straightforward. But when I was referred to this client who was a culinary school, a different school, I wasn't selling to a person, I was selling to a company. And so that's where everything changed, because instead of a person who had a student who would buy one uniform, the school wanted 100 uniforms. So like that's kind of where things started to change, and then I had to learn how to, get a business formation in place, establish our LLC, and set up accounting and set up these systems. So that was the point where like things started to change, was when I started working with business instead of just doing transactions with individual people.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And shifting from a, like a personal to person like approach to a like a business approach, you've had like a really big clients right now. What's the key indicator to make it also like make it feel like it's still personal? Because if you become like too generic, like you lose in a way your edge. What do you think has kept you like being touchable and personal?
So no, even if it's B2B and I'm selling to businesses, the every business is P2P, person to person. So no matter who I'm selling to, there's always that personal relationship and that personal commitment that you're making with the person on the other side. They just happen to represent a company, and they're not buying it for themselves, they're buying it for a company. So it's no different than me working and selling something to a person. I'm just building a relationship with the person in procurement. I'm making a relationship with the person who has the credit card, right? The people that are in charge there, and being confident knowing that, hey, I can deliver this. At the beginning, it was a lot of figuring out. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but I was confident that I can go figure it out. And so that confidence helped me get the deals, and then I would go figure it out afterwards. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to know all the answers, but you got to know how to be resourceful, and that goes back to some of those core values, right? Being resourceful, less is more.
Mm-hmm. And that one of being resourceful, how would you apply that in a person that's starting out? For example, a person doesn't have so many resources. What do you think would be the best way for them to start a business or start a project if he doesn't have like so much like income nor experience? What would be the best way to go about it?
So there's literally a million resources that are available now. A lot of these weren't available when I started, but the Small Business Administration, they offer tons of resources through a program called SCORE. You can get a free mentor, a business coach. They'll help you with what you're working on. But what I would do is just go find the industry that you're in and go look up what the biggest membership communities are and attend those events in person and start shaking hands and building relationships with people and get yourself a mentor or a business coach. And that would be the best way of just really getting started. I would just do that because everything that most people have want to accomplish in life, someone's already done it. So all you have to do is copy and paste. You have to figure everything
Mm-hmm.
out. Someone's already figured it out. So just go learn with them or go work for them and then you get the experience and then you can then do your own thing in the future or partner with them and then do something else.
Got it. Perfect. Yeah. And I also like this one that you talk about customer obsessed because I think if you really care about something, you're going to be obsessed about the client, obsessed about giving them a beautiful experience. Where where do you find like that middle point? Because if like you overgive or you like try to do everything for the client, there's a point where it starts to like dampen your own procedures. And I've seen that in myself. Like it starts to the client starts taking too much of it because you're so obsessed of giving him good service. Like, have you had any experience on those?
So when I say customer obsessed, and like I mentioned, we're revamping our values, and that one isn't going to be there. So, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean we don't want to provide great customer service. It's all about qualifying your prospects and setting expectations. So it's not being obsessed with what they need 24 hours a day. Like you draw your boundaries. Here's what we're deliver. Here's the expectations. If it works for them, great. You move forward. If they don't, then you disqualify them. They're not qualified to work with you. So you get to set up the qualifying, right? You always want to qualify three areas. You want to qualify the opportunity. You want to qualify like can you actually deliver what they're asking? That's the opportunity. Then you're qualifying the person. Are they a dick? Are they nice? Are they professional? Is it someone you see yourself working with? Now you've qualified them, and then you can qualify the company as well. Is this the industry? Is the company size right at the size that you typically work with clients? So you can qualify all three and then decide if you want to work with that that project and that lead. If it's a good fit, then you move forward. And a part of it is just setting boundaries and expectations. Here's what we'll deliver. Here's the timeline. Here's what you'll get. And that's it. Now, if they're asking things out of the scope, no big deal. That's where you can upcharge those things. So if you're frequently running into the same issue with a lot of your clients and they're saying, hey, we want this, and they're being picky, no problem. Create a package called the picky upgrade. And then you can bullet point all the things that they're constantly asking you for. You charge another 500, $1,000 or whatever you feel like for that picky upgrade package. But you can be very clear in what you do and what you don't do. And and that's how I would do it.
Mm-hmm. Love that because sometimes when we get like one client, it's we want to make everything about them, but at the same time, we also have to take care of ourselves and take care of our team at the same time. Um, Another thing that you mentioned just recently, and I really liked, is the fact that your employees were able to buy their first house, and they were able to do it because they've been working with you. So, how long have they been working with you, and what's it like to see like your employees and your team grow? Because it's like a different family, but it's at the same time you've been working with them so far, so long.
Yeah, so the longest person that's worked for us was about 7.5 years or so. But it's I don't think it's the duration that someone stays with you. I think it's the value you bring. You always get paid in proportion to the value you bring to the marketplace. So if I were to join, let's say Amazon, and in a month I can double their market value, like by adding some innovation or bringing some technology enhancements that would accelerate their deliveries, then obviously I'm going to get paid extraordinarily well for doing that. Now, whether it takes me an hour to do that or 10 years to do it, it's irrelevant. I'll get paid in proportion to the value that I bring to the market. So I think that's the way I look at it. So if somebody's contributing in such a meaningful way, they'll be taken care of, right? If you're a sales rep for me and then you come in and there's salespeople that have been here for 10 years and then you come in and you're absolutely crushing it in your first month and you're breaking all the sales records, clearly, like you're just going to do better, right? You're creating opportunities for yourself at that point. So,
Totally, totally. No, that makes total sense. And now the harsh part. How? Okay, you said you fire by with the values as well, but your process for firing is like, is it like straight cut? Is there like a space where you like set the expectations again? What would be the best way? Because at the same time, like they might not be performing, but you still want to let them go with the best intentions, I believe. How would you
yeah, if
go
they're
about
not performing, then they won't have a job longer. So the process, like HR is going to write them up, sit with them, walk through the process, come up with a protocol plan, and then like they'll get, if that continues to happen, then they'll get terminated, right? Unless they've done something super severe, it's not like nobody just gets terminated. It's not the proper protocol, right? You sit with them, figure out what's happening, understand their side of things. So I let the HR person manage that. I don't do that myself.
it? Okay. And what's your vision for the next couple of years, Prince? When it comes to your business, when it comes to your brand, what are you thinking on like for the next 5, 10 years? Where's the vision going?
So, I mean, clients just want speed across the board, doesn't matter what industry you're in. So just improving the efficiency of delivery. So just automating more and more things for the client to give them a better experience, right? Amazon continues to get faster and faster. Now they can deliver packages and most places same day, right? So just improving that piece of it is what I see for sure that we're working towards, just getting faster, so delivering our services quicker to people. That helps add a lot more value. People would pay more for it, and it's a win-win for everybody. So I see a lot of that. Um, Overall, it's just tightening up all of our systems and like really just honing in, and we work with a lot of different industries now, and we got to tighten up a lot of our systems to really scale and get to the next level. Just focus more.
Mm-hmm. Focus more on the systems. Love it. Love it. Okay. It has been amazing, man. Thank you so much for the time. If you were to give maybe one final tip to someone that's starting a business or has a business, what could they do to like improve it that they could apply maybe today so they can like start going towards that $1 million mark or whatever measurement of success they want to have in their lives?
Hmm. One thing that they can do, like,
Yeah.
go find somebody in your industry that's already done it. I'd say go find somebody who's already done what you're looking to accomplish. Find the person, like find the very best person, and go learn from them. That's your fastest shortcut. That's the fastest shortcut to being successful. Like if I had to start over, I would literally just go find the biggest company, the best company, or the company that I look up to, that I aspire to be, and literally cold email them, message them, show up to their office, send them gifts, and like find a way to get access to the person I'm looking for, and become a mentee to them and do everything that they tell me, and get really obsessive about doing what they ask me as fast as I can, so that I have an excuse to go back to them and let them know, hey, like for that second appointment, for that second meeting. That would be my best advice.
Love it.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay. Simple. Simple yet effective. Thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure. This will be a recording, so this will be on some YouTube and here on Instagram. And hope to see you soon as well.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much for.
having me.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.